Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever for a 4v4 cast on the map generator on the cards for us today. Before we get into introducing our players, I'd like to direct your attention to the buttons down below. Like, dislike, subscribe, notification, join, and super thanks. All of these buttons are useful for the channel. If you like it, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. And let's get into introducing our players, starting with Team 1 in the top right and Team 2 in the bottom left. Or is that correct? I think that's correct. Oh no, Team 1 is in the bottom left. So we will start down there with the pink UEF going first land by the name of Fraggington. And then we can move on to the southeast where we find ourselves a cyan seraphim going first land. His name is Big Bang and he is here to create some explosions. As we move on to the blue Cybern going first land, his name is Kazimarius and he is rocking this back position. Probably going to play a little bit of air. As we reach the last player for Team 1, he is a pink UEF going first land by the name of Assassin. And then we can move on to Team 2, where at the top of the map we have ourselves a very dark red or maroon colored seraphim by the name of Evil Genius, which might be a reference to one of the best games ever made. As we move on to the purple UEF going first land, the man responsible for me being a 1000 rated, and his name is of course the Egg Roll. He coached me way back when I was new at FAF. As we move on to the brown Cybern going first air by the name of Legend of the Stars. And then last but not least, we have ourselves a red Cybern going first land, and his name is Carlos PD, spelled with elite, or PT, spelled with elite speak. As we look at the map, not a bunch of reclaim, but plenty of mass extractors on this map gen for us to get into expanding and have these players duke it out as they battle for the limited resources on this planet and leave it a war-torn wreckage of its former self. And of course, it's going to be a fun time. Go down into the comments below and tell me what type of games you want to see next. And of course, let's just talk, have a discussion, tell me some cool things about your day. As we move on to the 3-ish minute mark, we have some early harassment coming out. We have some Selens out from Evil Genius. Might be possibly able to pick up an engineer or two if he is particularly lucky today. We also have a couple of Mech Marines now out for Fraggington. He could possibly get up here and do some damage back towards Evil Genius, as a Selen is about to pick up a singular T1 engineer over here for Fraggington. And of course, this Selen in the back, he's turned on the cloak. It's -1 power a second, and he is now going to be able to see so much. How much intelligence is he getting? Not as much as I thought it might be. In fact, very little. He might uncloak that and try and get an engineer kill here in a little bit. We have a T1 bomber now coming out from Legend of the Stars. Let's go ahead and track that so we can get some beautiful shots of engineers dying as the first payload about to drop onto an engineer queued up to build some factories. And yes, indeed, that is going to be our first kill out for this bomber as we turn about to go after some other engineers. Will be interesting to see what he's targeting specifically. Is this a drop onto the comm? If so, that's interesting. Yeah, he's dropping some bombs on Assassin, just some huge disrespect being thrown down as another engineer and a Snoop, that's how you say Snoop apparently, going down. Gonna be unfortunate for Assassin as he's gonna lose a ton of build power very early, already up to 4 kills and counting, about to be up to a 5th kill and his first rank of veterancy is this bomber. We also have a lab coming in for Carlos, which has picked up a kill onto what I can only assume to be an engineer, and now Assassin has been heavily stunted. He only has a couple of engineers on the map, 3 in total, and we're almost 5 minutes in. He is hurting for build power at this given moment. Bomber still flying around. We're going to stop tracking it as it is of course going to continue to get damage done. Going to go for another engineer over here that's trying to expand, and Assassin is in a desperate position. He is the highest rated player in the game at 1800, and he has really been rocked by this early aggression coming out from Team 2. Team 1 in dire straits down here on the southern side. Meanwhile, over here in the northwest, it seems relatively even. We do have Evil Genius expanding first, and he's going to be taking over these 2 mexes in the corner. And there are still some units kicking around down here for Carlos. Seems to be where all the action is happening. Carlos being very aggressive with the T1 phase. And he's going to use a couple of Mantis to kill off a Striker over here. And now he has 5 or so attacking units that are going to be able to get into the base of Sasson relatively soon. Sasson only on 2 factories. Carlos already up to 5. Make that 6. And this is starting to look very difficult for the pink 1800 down there in the south. These units going to come along through the back lines. Isn't going to quite be able to get any sustained damage done, but will take up time to deal with and be just a very annoying nuisance in general. We have the comm of Kazimarius coming over to try and help out Sasson in his attempt to overthrow the oppressive 1400 that is Carlos right now. And Carlos is continuing his reign of terror with these units. He's going forward into the territories of Sasson, and now he's threatening mexes that belong to Big Bang, who is very unhappy with this situation and now starting to redirect reinforcing units to deal with this band of miscreant mantis that are just absolutely marauding through the countryside with the alliteration of the century. Sasson going to be happy to see Kazimarius' comm showing up here to kill off a few mantis. And that is going to be the end of this very early aggression coming out for Carlos, as the comm and the units out from Big Bang and Kazimarius are going to be able to stop that from becoming a bigger issue. Sasson starting to stabilize, starting to get up some unit production, should be in the clear relatively soon. Gun damage and range on the way for Fraggington, and he is dangerously close to the comm of Evil Genius, who is also getting speed and range. Unfortunately for Evil Genius, his best laid plans are going to come to a very unfortunate demise, I would imagine. Although he does have a bunch of Zooies out in Fraggington, if he finishes this upgrade, he is going to eat a lot of Zooey fire. Already down to 8,000 health and falling quickly. Needs to start moving that comm as damage and range finishes up. Did take about 4,000 damage on that comm for getting the upgrade. Speed and range about to finish up now for Evil Genius. He's going to be in a very strong position up here on the northwestern side. Team 2 really playing a blinder of the game in the game so far. In the early game, doing very well for themselves. Sasson, sorry, 2 pink UEF on the same team, very confusing, showing up with the comm, trying to shut down some of this Mantis aggression, trying to get these 4 mexes under his belt, get that little bit extra amount of economy into his coffers so he can really push back the red Cybern that's been tyrannically halting his progress this game. As speed and range now up to 35% and going up very quickly with the assistance of these Mantis for Carlos. Damage and range now on the way for the egg roll. He's been relatively quiet this game, but has amassed a decent-sized army, has a decent economy behind him. Speaking of economy, let's go ahead and look at it. Egg roll, highest economy player at 54 mass a second, 48 for Carlos. Kazi sitting at 38, as well as Sasson, Big Bang at 37, and Fraggington at 27. Lowest is Legend of the Stars, only at 13. Has very few mexes back here. And above him, just barely, is Evil Genius, also at 27, along with Fraggington. As the fighting begins over here to the west, Evil Genius showing up with these Zooies, still proving invaluable, not only getting all that damage onto Fraggington, who's down to 5,300 HP, he is also taking out this T1 point defense, which was really going to halt the progression of Evil Genius, comm, and his units. And over here to the east, a bunch of units out from Carlos, going to be killing off an entire platoon of strikers over here for Sasson. A very unfortunate turn of events for Sasson. Needs to try and keep all of his units alive for as long as possible to try and catch up to the overall production lead that Carlos has on him. Of course, Carlos needs to make sure he is ecoing very well. He doesn't want to fall behind because Sasson sits back and ecos. He needs to keep the aggression going, but he is in a very strong spot right now. Up to the northwest, we have some units out from Big Bang and some units out from the egg roll showing up to try and influence this fight between Fraggington and Evil Genius. Fraggington going dangerously low on HP, dipping into the red at 3,200 HP, and he is going to need to fall back a little bit here as his units start to push forward towards the comm of Evil Genius. He's going to be able to pick off some of these exterior units, but Evil Genius will be able to easily clean up all of these units out from Fraggington, and there's really not much behind it, so he needs to start winning fights and winning them right now as he pushes Evil Genius back. Over here to the southeast, we have a bit of a conflict brewing now between Carlos and Assassin. The comm of Kazi still out here trying to get some damage onto some Mantis. For some reason I thought it was the comm of Eggroll for a second. No, the comm of Eggroll showing up over here to fight with Big Bang, having a disagreement with a Cliff, as you very often do in this game, and he's going to be coming in over here, glapping away at some of these exterior units, just trying to get some form of attritional damage down with that gun upgrade. Of course, Big Bang having his own gun upgrade. There's a lot of volatility up here in the northwest as the southeast is kicking off with some action. We have Mantis on Striker, but right now it seems as though Assassin has really just turned around his game. He's got a decent economy underneath him. He's rivaling Carlos's economy already, and he has more units down here killing off a lot of stuff. Of course, we do see these units out from Carlos. He's in this corner. He's having a bit of pathfinding trouble, but he does have a reasonable amount of units here. He just needs to group them up, as Assassin does have his units relatively well organized and consolidated. Over here, damage and range now on the way for Assassin, as he really needs something to address this gun comm. Kazi now starting to send his comm over towards the gun comm of Carlos, and Carlos trying to take over this kind of land expansion over here. There's some mexes and 2 land factories that he's just trying to shut down right here and right now. Also, Carlos trying to get by with a bit of a run by, and instead Assassin just says, I'm going to run at your run by, and he's going to give up these 4 mexes and these 2 factories. Seems very, very unfortunate now for Assassin. He does have a decent economy behind him. He's not too far behind Carlos, but needs to start finding some purchase in these battles, as over here Eggroll and Big Bang have been trading a few blows. Big Bang down to 8,000 HP, Eggroll still healthy at 9,000, and they continue to fire shots into each other. Large armies at play here. We could have a very volatile fight break out any minute at multiple points across the map. Evil Genius and Fraggington both kind of licking their wounds and regrouping and recuperating their losses, whereas Big Bang and Eggroll have now decided it is time to fight, and they are going to fight hard. As over here to the southeast, that 4-mex expansion now being scooped up by Carlos, who also managed to reclaim those 2 factories. Going to be very happy with that result is the Red Cybran. This purple UEF player, Eggroll, showing up with his gun comm, still throwing some shots into Big Bang. Needs to be careful not to take too many of these Zooey shots. Does still have a large army. Neither comm necessarily at threat of dying in the next couple of minutes, but they are in a bit of a precarious situation. Both sides really need to try and win this fight and assert dominance. This is going to become a very large reclaim field very quickly, and whoever can grab it will have a distinct advantage over their opposition. And Big Bang coming out with a very big brain play as he builds a T2 point defense. The Seraphim T2 point defense, very nice, doesn't do any overkill damage, and is going to be able to really exert some control over this area. Eggroll, only option to kill it is to walk up and overcharge it, and I'm sure he does not want to do that at this given moment. He wants to keep firing shots into Big Bang. Down here to the southeast, Carlos and nobody else, just Carlos, under huge threat. 2 comms showing up, 1 with gun, 1 stock. Could pose a very dangerous situation to the Red Cybran. He does have T2 land and a lot of hoplites sitting here in the back line. He's kind of trying to hide them. I don't know if Assassin is aware. He's not aware of the hoplites. This could be very dangerous for Assassin. Assassin could be killed. These hoplites can come in and just deal a ton of damage to that comm. This is where the action is going to be kicking off. Now that Assassin's comm is bogged down in this horde of Mantis, we're going to have to see if the hoplites are going to be enough. Assassin blapping away at the Mantis, may be able to get a rank of veterancy to save himself, but in a lot of trouble right now, as we see his health drop down to 7,000. Hoplites firing from range and going to be able to just put shots in the back of that comm, as well as the comm of Carlos, of course, dealing a lot of damage. Everything targeted onto the comm. 4,000 HP and falling quickly, now down to 3,000 HP, 2,000 HP, 500 or 1,000 HP. Getting ahead of myself. Down to 500, 400, 300, 200, 100, and he is dead. And that's going to be our first ejection of the best player in the game, 1800. Assassin gets destroyed and dominated by Carlos, who has just really taken a hold of this game on this southeastern side. Over to the northwest, we have Fraggington showing up, and it was, of course, full share. That entire base that belonged to Assassin now in the hands of Big Bang, who is sitting on a huge economy, nearly at 100 mass a second. And currently, Fraggington is trying to push back against Evil Genius, now building a fire base. He has a shield up, he has multiple triads. Shield is getting blapped away at by a Utashala T2 point defense, and that is going to be unfortunate. Although Evil Genius very low on HP, down to 3,800 HP as of this moment. Needs to be a bit careful. He does have T2 on that comm, so he can continue to try and build up himself some point defense, but now he's going to lose that first point defense to that triad that was just constructed by Fraggington. And down here to the southeast, Kazi luckily able to walk away, the comm explosion killing off enough for him to not be in danger. But the battle is going to continue as Carlos really using his unit and production advantage over Assassin to its limit, taking him out and now in a prime position to really roll over this game. He needs to continue to eco up and might even want to consider going Tech 3 as he has just started the upgrade. Speaking of upgrades, do we have anything else spicy going on? I don't see T3 on the way for anybody other than the air players who have T3 Air now finished up for Legend of the Stars. Do we have the same down here for Kazi? Kazi at T3 Air and does have the ability to produce T3 Air units. May be able to see a Strat Bomber come out and wreak some devastation down onto Carlos, who desperately for Team 1 needs to be knocked down a peg. Eggroll in the center has Nano Repair Gun and is about to finish up Shield. Going to be a very beefy comm, whereas Nano Repair T2 and Speed online for Big Bang. These two comms going to be titans to be dealt with. Although I think Big Bang probably has a little bit of an advantage being that Seraphim comm. Of course, without advanced nano, it's not an insurmountable lead. But these two comms very deadly in combat. Neither of them should be underestimated at this point in the game. Seems as though Carlos has been happy with his progress down here to the south and is sending the comm back home, which is a wise decision as we get to the 16-minute mark. Players starting to get over 100 mass a second. It's going to be a bit dangerous to be on the front lines. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. As we have a bit of a calmed down situation. Let's look at reclaim numbers. 4.4 thousand for Big Bang, 4.3 thousand for Evil Genius, Carlos at 4.2 thousand, everybody else below 4,000, so irrelevant. Overall economy is Big Bang and Carlos leading, both just over 100 mass a second, 117, so nearly 120 for Big Bang. Kazimara's at 98. He's probably going to be the next player to break the 100 mass a second mark, and Eggroll right behind him at 84, and everybody else around 50 or below. And overall economies for the team very close to each other. 171 for Team 1, 178 for Team 2. These players are generating a lot of mass. Team 1 overall has generated more mass than Team 2, and that is something going in their favor as they are down a commander at the moment. Mongoose firing into advancing Mantis. You also have some Ilshabas rolling onto the scene now. Is he still producing Mongoose? No, it would seem he's switched over to Pillars, the more throw it at your opponent kind of style. Big Bang being a bit stretched thin. He has the two bases and he has a very strong economy, but he needs to fight on multiple fronts, and it can be very difficult to make that happen, although he is the highest rated player remaining in the game, so if there's anybody to do it, it is indeed him. Eggroll starting to push forward with that comm. We were talking about how dangerous both of these players' comms, Big Bang and the Eggroll, sitting on very large amounts of power invested into their comms. And now it seems as though Big Bang's trying to exert his power over the comm of Carlos. He's going to be able to kill off this army pretty easily with the comm and his units. Eggroll needs to divert his units down. He managed to kill off a 4-mex expansion, or at least 3 of the mexes, as he is pushing down with the comm. He is in a desperate situation because Carlos cannot go down. If he loses Carlos, he's going to have to manage this entire base, and it's going to become a giant battle across the field between him and Big Bang, and I'm sure he wants to avoid that as he brings the comm down along with the large army, parashields, pillars, and everything else beginning with P, as those are the only units in the army that I think begin with P currently fighting. Fraggington pushing on to Evil Genius, who also has T2 nano and speed and range. Very interesting how these comms are mirroring the comms in the middle so far, except for no shield on Fraggington. Over here to the southeast, there's a large push, and Big Bang under a ton of pressure. Pillars focusing down Big Bang's comm, but that nano repair really coming in clutch. 98 health a second is nothing to be scoffed at. Eggroll, of course, at 62 himself, and he does have that shield, which regenerates at a nice 30. And the fight continues. These players with large armies just throwing them into each other. And it does seem as though it's going to result in very little. Big Bang could be in trouble. 2 gun comms has a lot of DPS. Kazi has gun comm as well and is showing up to the front, not to let his Cyan Seraphim ally down too easily. Evil Genius over here, he's sitting on yellow HP, 1500 HP versus 1700 for Fraggington. He does, of course, have nano, so 98 health a second, going to be huge in this ensuing fight. Down here to the southeast, seems as though Big Bang and Kazimaris want to push onto the comm of Eggroll, but Big Bang just doesn't have the unit count. He's now up to T3 land, has Authams onto the field. Speaking of T3 land, we have our first vestige of T3 Cybran land coming out onto the field. Some loyalists out from Carlos, and large reclaim pockets starting to be formed across the map. We have a ton of reclaim right here. It's going to be something that you want to fight over. There's some Sparkies out onto the field building very quickly, getting up those fire bases to try and just secure positions. Going to be a bit harder with T3 on the field. Those Authams going to chew through triads without a care in the world. But we have a bunch of T2 gunships showing up, and Evil Genius may be under threat. Do we have enough air out from Legend of the Stars, and will he respond in time as these gunships, these Renegades, gonna deal a ton of damage? There's a flak in the area that's gonna shoot down 2 of the Renegades, but 3 of them survive, and they're gonna continue to fire into the comm of Evil Genius. Fraggington also here with that damage and range comm. He's gonna be able to lay in a decent amount of damage. 2 Renegades remain in the air, but a few more ASF come in now for Legend of the Stars. Evil Genius gonna be able to walk away and lick his wounds, as he is in a bit of a difficult situation, losing that expansion, now being knocked back to just his main base, and he doesn't have the same fire base to fall back to right now. He has to use units, and he's in a very difficult situation. He's still fighting with Fraggington, who's just continuing to use the comm as a battering ram, just trying to break down the defenses of Evil Genius, and does get an overcharge off to kill off those 2 T2 engineers. He's going to be able to continue fighting. There's a couple of Ilshivas on the field. There's also these mobile missile launchers making sure that Evil Genius cannot stand still. Not that I think he'd be particularly fond of the idea at this moment. 4 ranks of veterancy and 74 HP a second for Fraggington, as he just continues to lay into the comm of Evil Genius, and they continue to fight it out up here. Anything going on down here? No, it seems as though the fighting has died down. So this is all of the action on the map at the moment, as Corsairs now coming in, trying to get the snipe off. They desperately want to kill off Evil Genius. Team 1 desperate to make this into a 3v3 instead of a 3v4. Evil Genius down to very low HP, 600, 500, 400, 300, 100, and he's dead! And with that, our second ejection. Fraggington nabs himself a kill with the aid of Kazimarius. And he's now going to be able to push into this base handed over to Carlos. Is Carlos going to keep it or hand it over to another ally? I would imagine he wouldn't want to manage bases on both sides of the map. He does give it over to the Eggroll, who needs to get units here and get them here now. He's T3, he has Percivals. Might be a good idea to build some Titans and just get the Titans over there. They will get there faster, and of course they are cheap to produce. You can have many more of them for the same price tag Seems as though the egg roll going to leave this southeastern corner to Carlos, which, as far as things go, Carlos has proven himself capable on this corner of the map, and going to reshift his attention and his units up towards Fraggington, who is now aggressively pushing in, trying to use these flapjack mobile missile launchers to serve some breakfast down on this Seraphim horrible looking base. So nasty, the Seraphim blight upon our lives. As Big Bang begins to fall back a bit, the last remaining Seraphim player in the game, thankfully, as the UEF players have really made some strides in the past couple of minutes. Fraggington getting himself a kill up here, and of course Eggroll, along with the help of Carlos, really winning a battle down here and shutting down that large army that Big Bang had not so long ago. Now there are Titans out on the field really trying to plow through and kill off these pillars. Fraggington's comm up to 5 ranks of veterancy, 14,000 mass killed, 80 health a second. A very formidable comm. The comm of the Eggroll, nothing to scoff at though. 3 ranks of veterancy, 68 health a second, 30 on the shield, and that shield's going to be pivotal if it comes down to a comm-on-comm fight like the last one. As the Percival count growing, I think we're up to 4 at the moment versus 5 or 6 Titans. That goes poorly for the player with Titans. You need a bit more than that. Titans are cheaper. Can't expect them to go toe-to-toe with Percivals. Parashield's going to be very useful in this fight, as Fraggington, along with the Percivals, start to push forward, start to try and shut this down. A bunch of PD being thrown up as quickly as Fraggington can manage it. He's trying to hold on to this position. He wants it so bad. He wants to break this base in its entirety, but gonna fall just slightly short as Team 2 is now massively out-ecoing Team 1, nearly 100 mass a second over their opposition. But we have some sniper bots here in the middle, and sniper bots are gonna become a huge danger if you use them properly, although this is gonna be an example of sniper bots really just having a bad time. Yep. Faulty Seraphim circuits wouldn't have happened if it was an Aeon player. As down here to the southeast, Otham's being used to kill off Mantis, which they are more than happy to do. Big Bang nearly to 5 ranks of veterancy. The comms of Team 1 have been fierce this game, getting a ton of kills. I'm sure Kazi is also even sitting on a decent clip of kills himself, up to 1 rank of veterancy. Eggroll has forced back Fraggington. And as we get to the 25-minute mark, it's looking dire for Team 1, but it's looked pretty bad all game, to be honest. Losing Assassin was a huge blow. But they've had their they've thrown punches back, and it still can go either way. But the onus is definitely on Team 1 to make something happen, to change up what's happened here. And Team 2 is working on finding a way to subdue the remaining opposition. Fraggington doing great work up on that northwestern corner in the southeast. Carlos doing the same, but for the other team. And now Eggroll and Big Bang stuck in awkward positions of having to manage multiple bases and large fronts. Big Bang using his comm quite effectively this game, and he's, as I said, about to hit that last rank of veterancy. Carlos, though, has finished an experimental, and that will be the Monkey Lord over here. And that's going to be very dangerous. But a chicken now on the way, and up to 50% nearly. That chicken's going to be done very quickly, as Big Bang by himself nearly to 200 mass a second. But both the Eggroll and Carlos over 200. Hell, both of them almost over 250 mass a second. Going to be a dangerous situation now, as Team 1 is treading very, very hostile waters. This is a lot of Titans. The Parashields need to get over those Titans, give them that increased HP pool that can make them just that little bit better. Overcharges coming out from Eggroll as he works his way towards that 5th rank of veterancy with that comm, as shield proving immensely powerful for him. As down to the south, Carlos starting to push in with a large force of loyalists. And the occasional brick. The red horde approaches the UEF base formerly belonging to Sasson. And this might be the push that decides the game. Large T3 army is now materializing out of seemingly nowhere. A T3 line of engineers now finishing up this Yathoda. And that experimental assault bot going to be devastating. There is, of course, a Monkey Lord on the field, and it's starting to sneak its way down south to these very awkward to traverse little hills, or I guess tiny mountains. And it's going to be decided here soon. We're getting to that point. We have a boiling point now. We're just waiting for that large engagement between one of these players and the others. And currently, apparently there were some strats lined up, but they got killed by Legend of the Stars, who was protecting his team from the snipe, but he lost air. Kazi, he did say it in all chat, says, yeah man, Sag. As the Monkey Lord and the large Cybern army now clashing into the base, formerly of Sasson, but now the Big Bang, who just does not have the means to deal with firepower of this magnitude. And these units coming in for Carlos going to be devastating. T1 PD banks being spammed up as fast as money can make them. And this is looking desperate now for Team 1. I said the onus was on them not so long ago. And that is just reigned true. That Monkey Lord looming in the distance, standing there menacingly as now it starts to fire its proton cannons forward. Somebody's in the comments gonna be like, it's not a proton cannon, but I swear it's, but isn't it? I'll have to look at it here in a moment, but this cinematic view is just too good. Sorry for dying, guys, making it hard. Sasson, don't apologize. You had all of the early game harass on you. It's difficult to hold for even the best sometimes whenever everybody sends something to deal with you. And now the Monkey Lord and this army out from Carlos going to decimate the base of Big Bang. And Big Bang trying to push in the middle. He has the chicken here. There's another Monkey Lord on the way at the moment. It's about to finish up. The chicken sieging the stronghold that is Eggrol's forward production base, and this is where the HQ is. He can shut down Eggrol's T3 production right here and right now, and if he can manage to hold back the force down on the south with the help of the air from Kazi, this could be huge. Speaking of the air from Kazi and that force, it's not looking pretty down here. As the units reach Kazimieros's base, he's trying to kill off the Monkey Lord first, but these units can deal a ton of damage themselves. There's some units from Big Bang showing up to try and help. The chicken push is what's going to decide this game. If this chicken can get in and deal substantial damage, there is still a chance for Team 1, but Team 2 is in great position to win this game. They just have to deal with one experimental, and the army around it has just evaporated into the night. And now this chicken has to fight off innumerable odds coming out from Carlos, who has just played a stunning game. T3 production now completely halted for Eggrol, who's going to have to rebuild his HQ if he wants it. He does have T3 Seraphim, which he can build, and he has some sniper bots on the field. This chicken gonna be able to fire at the Monkey Lord relatively soon. Over here, the forces were cleaned up, but the T3 Air HQ is dead. And no, the forces weren't even cleaned up. Kazimieros has lost his base, and here soon may lose his life. I don't believe the Monkey Lord will be enough, but that was a devastating push out from Carlos. And now the chicken is showing up to kill off so much of this build power and so much at stake with this chicken, but the sniper bot's firing in its back, really putting a timer on how long this chicken can live. It can't get any more veterancy. It does have 145 HP a second, which makes it relatively tanky, but sniper bots are going to be able to fire into the backside of this free reign as long as he doesn't walk too close. And he's going to continue to fire. He's going to continue to deal economic damage. It's Big Bang versus the world. Up here to the northwest, Eggroll under a lot of pressure from an army out from Fraggington, but with that gun comm, I would be hard-pressed to believe that this would be a deadly situation, although the chicken gonna get into the base before it dies does go down. In this situation now dire. And it's looking like Team 1 have met their match. Team 1 are in the death throes of this game. There's not necessarily a 0% chance, but they're in the single digits for victory now. They've lost air entirely. Carlos has jumped into air. Carlos has remained untouched throughout this. Eggroll still sitting on 2 bases and looking strong. And the overall economy is not lying. Double the mass income now for Team 2. Team 1 needs a miracle. And that miracle doesn't seem to be coming anytime soon. Let's go ahead and speed this up just a tiny bit, as these players do need to recuperate some losses before we have that one final engagement. Corsairs coming out trying to snipe Big Bang. Do get shot down by remnant air forces. The economy of Kazimierz just thrown into getting back up to T3 air. He has a RAS SCU, which is... maybe it's enough, guys. Maybe. But the Eggroll coming out in relatively great fashion, holding off that chicken. And Carlos with the devastating game-winning attack, I would say. And Kazi with a nasty air fight against Carlos there. We caught the tail end of it, but Carlos really losing a lot of ASF to that. This is quite the game. Players on both sides bantering. How Carlitos is doing everything this game. He's having a nice game. Is the same Carlitos playing? And I let you down. Haha, I can't argue with that. This monkey didn't shoot the chicken even for a second. Or his monkey didn't even shoot the chicken even for a second. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. That is a Fat Boy finishing up now for Eggroll. Another chicken is finished up for Big Bang. Maybe I called it too early. Experimentals on the field for both sides. Megalith, though, about to finish up for Carlos. I guess it's not Carlos, it is Carlitos. Okay, well, too late. I'm not fixing it. I'm not recasting it. So, Carlos is your new name, Carlitos. Don't care what your mama told you. Big Bang still out here with the comm. And still... yeah, let's slow down. Still trying to get that last rank of veterancy. Can he manage it? I don't think the answer is going to be yes. But the answer may shock you. As Eggroll suffers economic pains, unable to afford the shield on his Fat Boy. That's a poor man's Fat Boy, and the Fat Boy is not a poor man's unit. It's very much so a rich man's unit. Needs that power to be stabilized for that Fat Boy to be even half as effective as it could possibly be as it starts sieging this middle fire base. There's a bunch of sniper bots here, which may have been useful if there wasn't a Fat Boy, but they're outranged by the Fat Boy. Gonna be dangerous for them. Chicken down here, used as a defensive option as of the moment. And this Fat Boy starting to push into the base of Big Bang, and it just feels as though Team 1, they have signs of life, but I think we need a little bit more than a sign right now. We need an action. I don't know. We need a landmark or some shit. A landmark of life. Another Fat Boy. Oh no, a chicken. Finishing up for Eggroll, who is sitting on the highest economy now, nearing 400 mass a second, and just shitting out experimentals. This Fat Boy gonna push forward. A line of artillery starting to be thrown together. Will it be built up enough in time? Percival's coming in the rear. But a Megalith gonna show up to try and protect the fat boy. As Eggroll going to break the base, it would seem, of Big Bang. And with that, the game most certainly is going to be over. The fat boy goes down, but there's already 20 Percivals in the base. It's going to be incredibly painful to watch, but oh so succulent at the same time as we watch Seraphim structures explode. Big Bang played a blinder, but in the end his base will go the way of Assassin and blow up before its prime. As the Megalith meanders its way forward towards the production line that is now producing Zooies. And the chicken gonna move up to try and help. Assassin feeling very guilty. The chicken up here for Eggroll, pushing into the base of Fraggington. And the end is nigh for Team 1. Megalith versus chicken fight. Megalith gonna lose it, or gonna win it, but the chicken might be able to get the kill with the death ball. Is the death ball gonna be enough? Does the Megalith get to walk away? Oh, the death ball RNG messed up. I think that was a control K. I don't think there was anything over here that would have killed him. And Fraggington following suit. Big Bang fighting it out with the comm. He got his 5th rank of veterancy, everybody. And thank you all for watching. Thank you to the Patreons. Thank you to the channel members. You all make this channel so much better. If you want to support the channel and keep the channel alive, consider supporting me over on Patreon, joining the channel membership, or doing a one-time donation through the super thanks button. If you do that, you get to have your message in the comments highlighted with the amount you donated. With that out of the way, you all are beautiful. This is Willow, signing off.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love